Hello Lakers fan, if you are one of those who are always up to date with the news about our Lakers, then you need to stay tuned to what is coming up on our Lakers news channel. I am preparing exclusive coverage on the possible signings of Lake hairs, and what I can tell you is that rumors are catching fire on social media, and if you don't want to miss any information, stay tuned. We have exclusive news every day. If you are a true Lakers and don't want to be left out of the news, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's go to the video.
Lakers vs Timberwolves. The game that could define the series. The Lakers' playoff journey didn't exactly start as planned. After a full week of rest and riding high off a 50-win regular season, they were stunned on their home floor by the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1, falling 117-95, despite a 37-point effort from Luka Doncic. But if you're a Lakers fan, don't lose hope just yet. In fact, there are real reasons to believe this series is far from over, and that Game 2 could mark the beginning of a turning point. Here are 3 key reasons to stay optimistic. 1. LeBron James is about to turn it up. Let's be honest, LeBron didn't look like himself in Game 1. With just 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, he was unusually quiet, even going scoreless in the first quarter for the first time in his playoff career. It was a performance that didn't reflect his legacy or impact. But here's what we do know: LeBron always responds. Even at 40, his leadership, feel for the game, and ability to elevate when it matters most remain unmatched. Luka might be the offensive engine right now, but LeBron is still the emotional core, and his assertiveness is essential if the Lakers hope to match Minnesota's physical, disciplined play. After this initial punch to the mouth, expect LeBron to come out with a different fire in Game 2. 2. Luka Doncic has found a target: Rudy Gobert. Despite the blowout loss, the Lakers exposed a critical flaw in Minnesota's defense: Rudy Gobert on the perimeter. When forced to switch onto Luka, the Wolves' big man struggled to stay in front, and Luka capitalized with fouls, buckets, and chaos. Gobert played just 24 minutes, finishing with 2 points and 3 fouls. Naz Reid was spectacular on offense, but Gobert's struggles defending in space were a clear weak link. And when Luka gets those switches in the pick and roll, he dictates the game. If head coach Redick continues to hunt those mismatches, the Lakers could start pulling apart Minnesota's defense from the inside out. 3. Redick will make the defensive adjustments. Redick's playoff coaching debut wasn't pretty, and he knows it. But if there's one thing he's proven all season, it's that he learns quickly. The team wasn't physically ready for Minnesota's pace and aggression, and their initial strategy, protecting the paint and daring the Wolves to shoot, backfired. Minnesota hit 21 of 42 threes, with Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels lighting it up. Now, adjustments are a must. Expect Redick to increase minutes for defenders like Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt to tighten perimeter coverage and limit the open looks that led to Minnesota's scoring outburst. A change to the starting lineup could also be on the table, potentially moving away from Jackson Hayes in favor of a more versatile, switch-heavy unit. No panic, but the alarm's been set. There's no need to hit the panic button just yet. But make no mistake, Game 2 is huge. Losing both home games in a series this tight could be a backbreaker. The good news? The Lakers have the tools to bounce back: a generational talent in Luka, a proven warrior in LeBron, and a coaching staff capable of adapting. If they bring the intensity and make the necessary tweaks, the series is still wide open. Game 2 tips off Tuesday, April 23rd, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Brasilia time, on ESPN, and it might just be the night the Lakers flip the script. Inside the locker room, urgency and unity. Following the Game 1 loss, the mood in the Lakers locker room wasn't panic, it was urgency. Several players described the loss as a wake-up call, with LeBron reportedly speaking privately to the team post-game about matching Minnesota's physicality and focus from the opening tip. "We weren't the aggressors," said Jared Vanderbilt. "They punched us in the mouth, and we didn't respond the way we should have. That has to change." Redick echoed that sentiment in his post-game remarks, emphasizing the need for tighter rotations and smarter decisions, especially in transition, where the Wolves dominated with 19 fast break points. Minnesota's depth makes them dangerous. One of the biggest revelations in Game 1 wasn't just the star power of Anthony Edwards, it was the Timberwolves' depth. With Karl-Anthony Towns in early foul trouble and Rudy Gobert limited, Minnesota leaned on Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and they delivered in a big way. Reid finished with 23 points on 8 of 11 shooting, McDaniels added 17 and played elite defense on the wing, and the Wolves bench outscored the Lakers reserves 44-28. That kind of production gives Minnesota a real advantage, especially when their starters aren't at full strength. For the Lakers, it's now or never. Game 2 isn't just a must-win for momentum, it's critical for survival. Falling behind 0-2, with the next 2 games in Minneapolis, would put the Lakers in a nearly impossible spot. Historically, teams down 0-2 with both losses at home only recover 6.7% of the time. That stat isn't lost on the veterans. "We know what's at stake," said LeBron after Monday's practice. "There's no panic. Just poise. But we have to raise our level, all of us." Look for the Lakers to potentially shake up their defensive assignments on Edwards, who carved them up with drives and kickouts. Vanderbilt and Vincent are expected to see increased minutes, possibly as early as the first quarter. The X factor, crowd energy and identity. While Crypto.com Arena was loud early in Game 1, the buzz faded once Minnesota took control. The Lakers will need their home crowd to stay engaged, and they'll need to give fans something to rally around. The key? Rediscovering their identity. All season long, the Lakers built success around tough defense, LeBron-led execution, and Luka's creative brilliance. They got away from that in Game 1. Game 2 is their chance to re-establish it, before the Timberwolves bury them in confidence. Game 2, the battle for control. Round Pushpin Crypto.com Arena. 7 o'clock Tuesday, April 23rd to 7th p.m. ET/11 p.m. Brasilia time. Television live on ESPN. This one isn't just about bouncing back, it's about sending a message. To the Timberwolves, to the fans, and to themselves, the Lakers aren't done yet. Jeanie Buss hints at plans to honor the 2020 championship team. Since winning it all in 2020, Lakers governor Jeanie Buss has had one goal in mind: getting the team back to the top. The road hasn't been easy, and while the franchise hasn't captured another title since then, the recent addition of Luka Doncic has reignited championship hopes in Los Angeles. If this season isn't the one, the hope is that Doncic can lead the team to glory in the near future. With the Boston Celtics now holding 18 championships, one more than the Lakers, Buss knows just how important it is to reclaim that lead and reinforce the Lakers' legacy as the NBA's most iconic franchise. That 2020 championship team was something special. They brought hope and resilience during one of the darkest times in recent memory. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they were never able to have the celebration they deserved. No parade, no public moment with the fans. And that's something that still weighs on Jeanie Buss. In a recent interview with SiriusXM NBA Radio, Buss opened up about a possible tribute if the Lakers were to win it all again. "You can't even go there mentally yet. We've got a tough opponent in the first round and nothing is guaranteed. But if we're fortunate enough to win another championship, I would absolutely look for a way to honor that 2020 team. They didn't get the celebration they earned because of the pandemic restrictions, especially here in LA County. A parade just wasn't an option at the time. But that doesn't mean we didn't want to celebrate. So yes, someday that moment will come." Buss was right to keep her focus on the current playoff run, particularly with a tough first-round matchup against the Timberwolves. But with the Lakers, the end goal is always a championship. That 2020 squad battled through so much, and in the midst of global uncertainty, they brought joy and unity to millions of fans. Basketball became a lifeline when the world shut down. And while the Lakers lifted the trophy in the Orlando bubble, they never got the chance to share that joy with the city of Los Angeles. When the next banner is raised, it could mark a rare double celebration, honoring both the current team and the champions of 2020. And for a franchise with such a rich history, that would feel just right. Jeanie Buss still regrets not letting the 2020 team defend their title. After winning a championship, most teams have the chance to come back and defend it, but the Lakers didn't. The 2020 offseason brought major roster changes, and the core that brought home the title was never fully given a shot to run it back. Even though the 2020-21 roster was, on paper, a stronger team overall, Buss still carries a sense of regret. She knows that defending a title is part of what makes a championship journey truly complete, and the 2020 Lakers never got that chance. While Jeanie Buss can't rewrite the past, she seems determined to ensure that the 2020 Lakers are never forgotten. That championship, won inside the NBA bubble at Walt Disney World, was far from ordinary. It came in the wake of Kobe Bryant's tragic passing, amid a global pandemic, and during a time of social unrest across the country. The Lakers didn't just win for themselves, they won for the city, for their fans, and in many ways, for Kobe. It was a title rooted in emotion, perseverance, and unity. And the fact that the team was never properly honored still stings, not just for the players, but for the fans as well. When Buss hinted at a potential tribute, it sparked immediate buzz across social media and sports outlets. Fans flooded platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram, expressing excitement at the idea of finally giving the 2020 team their moment in the sun. Former players like Dwight Howard and Kyle Kuzma even responded, with Howard commenting, "We did it for the city." A celebration would mean the world. LakersNation, one of the most passionate fan bases in sports, has long echoed that sentiment. Over the past few years, there have been countless calls for a delayed parade or some form of recognition. For many, that title was more than just a trophy. It was a symbol of resilience, during a time when hope was in short supply. From a league perspective, this kind of retroactive celebration would be unprecedented, but also deeply meaningful. It would set a new standard for how teams honor history while continuing to build their future. And if the Lakers were to win again this season or in the near future, what better backdrop than a dual celebration? One part for Luka Doncic and the team that brought LA back to glory, and one part for the heroes of 2020 who never got their flowers? Behind the scenes, sources close to the organization have suggested that Buss and the Lakers front office have already floated several ideas, ranging from a combined parade to a special ring ceremony or banner night solely for the 2020 team. While nothing is confirmed, the intent is clearly there. This also speaks to a deeper part of Jeanie Buss's leadership style. She's not just focused on trophies, she's focused on legacy, loyalty, and honoring those who helped write the Lakers' storied history. That's the kind of culture that keeps a franchise iconic for generations. So whether or not this season ends in championship gold, one thing is certain, the memory of 2020 isn't fading, it's waiting for its moment. And if Jeanie Buss has her way, that moment will come, loud and proud, under the California sun, with purple and gold confetti falling from the sky. Lakers news: Austin Reaves talks urgency to limit Timberwolves' three-point shooting. Austin Reaves wasn't the only Los Angeles Laker who had an off night in Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Frankly, the entire team came up short. On both ends of the floor, the Lakers struggled, falling flat in a playoff opener that was supposed to energize their home crowd, but ended in disappointment. Despite building a 7-point lead after the first quarter, the Lakers went into halftime trailing by double digits, thanks in large part to Minnesota's sharpshooting from beyond the arc. That trend continued after the break, and Reaves admitted that LA gave the Wolves way too many clean looks, even if that was part of their initial defensive strategy. To start the third quarter, I think they knocked down 3 or 4 threes in a row, and most of them were wide open, Reaves said. Game plan or not, you never want to give up shots like that. This is the NBA. If a guy's taking an in-rhythm, uncontested shot, there's a good chance he'll knock it down. So yeah, we'll go back, watch the film, and make the adjustments. Whether it was defensive lapses or a flawed strategy, Reaves made one thing clear: the Lakers didn't do their job. But beyond tactics, he felt Minnesota simply came out with more intensity, and it showed. They just played harder than us. Flat out, Reaves added. They did all the things we wanted to do. They hit the offensive glass, kicked it out for threes, and way too many of those looks were either wide open or the result of a breakdown in our coverage. When you combine poor effort with bad execution, the result's never going to be pretty. There was a spark late in the third and early in the fourth, when LA made a bit of a push, but the Wolves had answers, hitting a few tough mid-range shots that snuffed out the comeback attempt. Still, Reaves isn't hitting the panic button. But he knows things have to change, fast. We've got to be better, he said. Simple as that. Now down 0-1, the Lakers head into a crucial Game 2. A loss would send them to Minnesota in a tough 0-2 hole. Reaves believes the key is matching the Timberwolves' physicality from the very start. They set the tone physically right from the tip, Reaves said. Neither team had played in about a week, but they came out with way more energy, more force, and it paid off. That was the difference. The good news? Energy, effort, and toughness are all within the Lakers' control. And if they don't step up in those areas, Reaves knows the series could slip away. Reaves still confident in a Game 2 bounce back. Naturally, there was frustration after dropping Game 1 at home, but the Lakers aren't discouraged. Reaves emphasized the importance of keeping perspective. It's a series, not a one-game showdown. That was the vibe in the locker room, he said. You don't win or lose a series in one night. We've got a chance Tuesday to tie things up at home, and then go play 2 on the road. Truth is, you don't win or lose anything until someone's got 4. We've just got to play to our standard, and if we do that, we'll be fine. While the Lakers are saying all the right things, the pressure is undeniably mounting. After such a deflating performance at home, questions are now swirling, not just around the team's game plan, but around its identity. Can this group respond when it matters most? Head coach Darvin Ham acknowledged the breakdowns in post-game interviews, calling out a lack of urgency and discipline on defense. We didn't close out hard enough, didn't fight through screens, didn't communicate, Ham said. You let a team like Minnesota get comfortable early, they'll make you pay. And they did. Veterans like LeBron James and Anthony Davis kept their comments short, but their expressions said enough. There's a shared understanding that this team can't afford to repeat Game 1, not in execution, not in effort, and certainly not in body language. Reaves, who has become one of the emotional leaders in the locker room, took it upon himself to speak honestly, but also to rally the group. It's one game, yeah, he repeated. But we've got to act like Game 2 is a must-win. We can't go into Minnesota down 0-2. We know how tough they are at home, how confident they get when they smell blood. It's on us now. Around the league, reactions pour in. The NBA community didn't hold back. Analysts on ESPN and TNT were quick to criticize the Lakers' passive start, calling it uncharacteristic for a team with so much playoff experience. Charles Barkley said flat out, the Lakers looked like they didn't know what time the game started. Social media, as expected, lit up. While some fans defended the team, citing rust from the long layoff, others weren't as forgiving, especially when pointing out how the Timberwolves seemed hungrier from the very first possession. Minnesota, for their part, came into the game with something to prove. Anthony Edwards played with fire, taunting the Lakers bench after several big plays, and Rudy Gobert anchored the paint with authority, altering shots and grabbing keyboards. It was a statement win, and the Wolves know it. They didn't match our intensity, Edwards said post-game. That's on them. We came here to win, not just to show up. What comes next? Adjustments, mindset, and urgency. Heading into Game 2, the Lakers face more than just a strategic challenge. They face an emotional one. They need to respond not just with smarter rotations or defensive tweaks, but with pride. Reaves emphasized that the players had a long talk after the game, not about XS and OS, but about heart. We talked as a group, he revealed. About how much this means. About not wasting the opportunity. And more than anything, about fighting together. Expect the Lakers to make some key adjustments. Tighter closeouts on shooters like Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, more aggressive switching to limit mismatches, and potentially more minutes for defensive specialists like Jared Vanderbilt if available. Offensively, they'll need to find rhythm early, and not rely on late-game heroics. But all tactics aside, Reaves believes the difference will come down to effort. You can't fake intensity. You either have it or you don't, he said. And on Tuesday, we've got to bring it from the jump. Game 2 is set to tip off at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday at Crypto.com Arena. And this time, the Lakers know exactly what's at stake. JJ Redick breaks down what the Lakers must fix to take down the Timberwolves in Game 2. Game 1 didn't go the way the Los Angeles Lakers had hoped. In his first playoff appearance as a head coach, JJ Redick watched his team get outplayed and outmuscled by a hungry, physical Minnesota Timberwolves squad. It was a statement game from the Wolves, a loud reminder that they're not to be taken lightly, especially after reaching the Western Conference Finals just last season. But one game doesn't define a series. After the tough loss, Redick, his staff, and the players dove into the film. The diagnosis? There's a lot to clean up, and quickly. We've got to do a lot of things better. And it all starts with playing harder and being more organized, Redick told reporters after Monday's practice. From the Lakers' struggles to get anyone besides Luka Doncic consistently involved on offense, to the defensive breakdowns that left Timberwolves shooters with far too many open looks from deep, the issues were clear. But Redick wasn't just pointing fingers, he was setting a tone. What being organized really means. Often when coaches talk about being organized, it sounds like coach speak. But Redick broke it down in a way that hit home, and highlighted just how fundamental the Lakers' issues were in Game 1. People hear organized, and think it's just calling plays or the point guard setting something up, Redick explained. But it's everything, the little things we work on every day. It's setting solid screens, spacing the floor properly, filling the corners after makes and misses. That's being organized. He continued, there were too many possessions where we had 3 or 4 guys clustered at the top of the key with 15 seconds on the shot clock. That's not going to get it done at this level. A wake-up call, not a death sentence. As disappointing as Game 1 was, Redick and the Lakers aren't panicking. This is still a series. The team has a golden opportunity to bounce back on Tuesday and head to Minnesota with momentum, rather than trailing 0-2. The blueprint is simple in theory. Be sharper, be tougher, and execute with intent. Redick is confident his team can do that, but ultimately, it's on the players to bring that vision to life. Magic Johnson voices his frustration. Not everyone is as patient. Lakers legend Magic Johnson didn't hold back after Saturday's loss, voicing frustration on social media, and putting some of the blame on Redick himself. Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he struggled in Game 1, Magic posted. The Lakers were stagnant on offense, played too much isolation basketball, and he didn't make the necessary adjustments. While Magic's critique stung, it echoed a sentiment many fans shared. The offense lacked rhythm, ball movement, and cohesion. Redick, who's earned respect for his analytical mind and attention to detail, will now be tested in the biggest moment of his coaching career so far. Eyes on Game 2. Now, all eyes turn to Tuesday. The Lakers know what's at stake. Falling behind 0-2 heading into Minnesota would be a steep mountain to climb against a confident Wolves team. But with the right adjustments, and the right mindset, they still control their own fate. We didn't play to our standard, Redick admitted. But we get another chance. It's about how we respond. For the Lakers, the message is clear. Game 2 isn't just about XS and OS. It's about heart, pride, and proving they belong in this fight. Pressure mounts, but so does the opportunity. As Game 2 approaches, the Lakers find themselves at a critical crossroads. There's no room for another slow start, no margin for defensive miscues or offensive stagnation. This is where championship-caliber teams are forged or exposed. J.J. Redick understands the gravity of the moment, but he's not flinching. Despite the outside noise, including Magic Johnson's pointed criticism, Redick has remained composed and focused. Internally, sources close to the team describe the coach as laser-sharp, using every moment of film and practice to get the team mentally locked in. He's not panicking, and he's not sugarcoating either, one Lakers staffer said. He knows this team has what it takes. It's just a matter of execution, and he's making sure no detail is overlooked. LeBron and AD step up as vocal leaders. In the locker room, leadership is starting to shift into high gear. LeBron James, who's been through just about every playoff scenario imaginable, reportedly pulled several players aside after practice to reinforce the importance of focus and intensity. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis has taken a more vocal role than usual, calling for better communication on switches and closeouts, 2 areas where the Lakers were repeatedly burned in Game 1. They're setting the tone, Redick said of his stars. They're not just talking, they're holding guys accountable, and that's exactly what we need. Timberwolves staying locked in. On the other side, Minnesota isn't buying into the narrative that the Lakers will just flip a switch. The Timberwolves are approaching Game 2 with the same fire and focus that fueled their dominant opener. Game 1 was just us being us, Anthony Edwards said confidently. We're not backing down now. We know they'll come harder, but so will we. Rudy Gobert echoed that sentiment, emphasizing the importance of physicality and staying disciplined on defense. We did our job once, he said. Now we've got to do it again, and do it better. Analysts weigh in. The national conversation has also taken off. On ESPN's NBA Today, Kendrick Perkins warned, if the Lakers don't show up with more urgency in Game 2, this series might not even go 6. Meanwhile, Doris Burke noted that Redick's approach is clearly cerebral, but the team has to match that with grit. Strategy only goes so far, you've got to want it. Former players and analysts alike seem to agree, this is the game that will reveal who the Lakers really are. The stakes couldn't be higher. For all the narratives and talking points, it comes down to this: Game 2 is about survival. Lose, and the Lakers head into hostile territory down 0-2, with the Timberwolves smelling blood. Win, and the series resets, momentum shifts, confidence returns, and the pressure lands squarely on Minnesota's shoulders. J.J. Redick, in his most defining moment yet as a head coach, isn't shying away. "I believe in this group," he said. "We've had our backs against the wall before. It's time to show what we're made of." Tip-off is Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For the Lakers, it's more than just a game. It's a statement, and a shot at redemption.